Hey bro, what's up? Today we answer a question from a viewer. What are the safest strength training exercises? This question was asked by my friend Richie on Facebook. If you want to be featured in a future video, you can also post a comment below and I will answer your question, like I'm doing now with Richie's question. What are the safest strength training exercises? Well, it's kind of simple. We need exercises with more stress on the muscles and less stress on the connective tissue. Because some exercises, you are in some positions and also the load is higher on the joints, and sometimes you are in some positions that are anatomically not good. For example, avoid exercises that involves pushing behind your back. That's very injurious. Avoid behind the neck exercises. That's very injurious also. Avoid spinal loading plus moving the spine. So spinal loading can be safe if you have a good technique, but moving the spine while having a load on your back, that's very injurious. So if you don't want to snap your back, you have to keep your back in the same position during the exercise. For example, if you have your back straight, then you have to keep it straight. If you have your back arched, you have to keep it arched. And also just having spinal loading can increase injury risk because it's hard to always keep your technique perfect, and it can also load your joints more. So in general, if you don't load your spine, it will be less injurious. Generally, exercises that have a greater freedom of movement are less injurious. And for example, barbell exercises have more injury risk. When you hold the barbell, usually it's anatomically not so good on the joints compared to a free movement when you don't have to hold the barbell. But there are also some machines with good range of motion and good resistance curve that are also good to prevent injuries. Closed chain exercises are generally better than open chain exercises. They also improve muscle growth and strength better than open chain exercises, and they are usually easier on the joints also. So I won't list every safest exercise. Maybe I do that in another video. Put in a comment below if you want that video. But I have some examples, and if you follow the principles, you basically know if exercise is safe or not. But here are some examples. So the push-up is better than the bench press. A unilateral squat where you don't load your back is better than a back squat. Arnold press is better than a barbell overhead press. One-legged deadlift is better than a deadlift. And the ring pull-up is better than a bar pull-up because your wrists are more free and it's easier on the elbows. So that answers the question, but I have some bonus information for you. You have more injury risk the higher you go in intensity. That's really the variable that is the most important to be careful with. With a high intensity, so the heavier you train, the more injury risk you have. Also, explosive tempo is higher injury risk than a slow controlled tempo, and also overuse by repetition. So if you always use the same exercise with a high intensity, then you have a high injury risk. If you use always the same exercise with low intensity, you don't have that much injury risk, but you still have an injury risk by overuse by repetition because you always do the same movement and that's stressful on your body. The best way to decrease injury risk is getting stronger and muscular, because the stronger your muscles, the less stress on your joints. A lot of injuries can be prevented if you are simply stronger and more muscular. Every joint pain is usually prevented by strengthening the muscles around the joint. The best way to recover from an injury is active recovery, strength training as much as your injury allows it. So contrary to popular belief where you just do nothing and sleep and rest, exercising will help you recover faster, and getting stronger and more muscular as much as your injury allows it will help you recover much faster. Some things that can help a tiny bit are compression sleeves, heat therapy, and massage. Now more specifically, to avoid elbow pain. During the exercises, you have to have your wrist aligned with your elbow and have the wrist straight. Also hold the bar firmly to avoid unnecessary stress by movement. And also exercises with free rotation like ring and dumbbell exercises are better for the elbow. As I mentioned before, ring pull-ups are better than bar pull-ups because the wrists are free. And it's less stressful on the elbow because you can have elbow pain from forearm and finger movements. And an elbow sleeve can also help a little. Make sure it's not too tight because you want your blood to still flow. More specifically, if you have tennis elbow, you can be a little bit more careful with pulling exercises, and here are some recommendations. Choose exercises that are not hard when the elbow is fully extended. So you don't want the resistance to be too high when the elbow is extended. Pulling exercises with less biceps recruitment are easier on the elbows. Pronated grip are better than supinated. Wide grip is easier than closed grip, so choose a pronated wide grip with less biceps recruitment. For example, a wide grip pull-up. And a thumbless grip can also help. If you have golfer's elbow, you can be more careful with pushing exercises. Choose exercises that are not hard near lockout, so there is not too much resistance near lockout. Here, pushing exercises with less triceps recruitment are easy on the elbow. Keep your forearms vertical during free weight exercises. And if you do barbell exercises, a wider grip tends to be easier on the elbows. Examples of exercises are cable chest press and convergent chest press machines that can be easier on the golfer's elbow. To avoid shoulder impingement, have a perfect bench press technique, so retract your scapula well and all the other things. Avoid internal rotation of the shoulders with shoulder abduction, so you don't want to internally rotate the shoulders and elevate your shoulders. That's really the worst thing you can do for your shoulders. Avoid behind the neck exercises, that is like internal rotation plus shoulder abduction, so that's very bad for your shoulders. So avoid behind the neck presses, behind the neck pull-ups. A narrow grip can be better because you have less shoulder abduction. The safest overhead press for the shoulders is the Arnold press, because that's a narrow grip and you have less internal rotation. To avoid back pain, you need to strengthen your erector spinae. So for example, do a lot of body weight back extensions and avoid spinal loading, so avoid exercises that load your back with a lot of weight. If you do a lot of back squats, make sure that you push out the knees well and you don't have knee valgus. And an interesting fact is that the back is less resistant to stress in the morning. So you have higher injury risk in the morning for the back than later. So if you can, it's better to train later in the day to avoid back injuries. Thank you for watching. Click the like button if you liked the video, subscribe and turn on your notifications if you don't want to miss out on my future videos. Comment below with a fitness related question and I will answer you in a future video. Thank you.